That's something big around here. If I go up to someone and they ask me if I have a house somewhere around here, I say, well, I, I have a bed at a shelter. Oh, really? It'll run away. People have to understand that humans live here too. I'm not just an animal or something taking up space. I'm actually human.
I wanna live, I wanna give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. It's these expressions I never give that keep me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old.
Peter Powell, President of Interfaith Housing. Been in this position since February 1st of 1988. Interfaith Housing operates shelter, transitional housing, permanent housing, food pantry, a soup kitchen, a mentoring program, a job training program, all in Westport. About 60 people per night served by us. The emergency shelters are at 45 Jessup Road, and it's the Gillespie Center for Men, the 15-bed shelter for men, and Hoskins Place, which is a 4-bed shelter for women. And it also includes there the community kitchen, which serves about 30,000 meals a year, 3 meals a day, and the food pantry, where we give away groceries to anyone who comes. For the first time in our existence, we are out of food. We have always had, we have some years worried about food going out of date. This year we're out of food entirely. Backrack Community is shelter for 4 families in 3 houses on Wasson Lane, which is near Daybreak Nursery. The Linksweiler House is a halfway house for men in recovery who are employed. It's across the street from Mitchell's. Schnormacher House is our newest program. It's in Hales Court. It's a halfway house for women who are in recovery and employed. And Homes with Hope is 3 houses on Saugatuck Avenue, just at exit 17. And they provide permanent housing for the formerly homeless, mentally ill, in their 8 apartments. So that's the quick and dirty on the facility.
I am Audrey Sparry. I am the Vice President of Operations for Interfaith Housing. This is my office, and the office is in the Gillespie Center. Gillespie Center is the single men's shelter for Interfaith Housing. The building actually comprises both the single men and the single women's shelter. But we are here on a snowy day, and it is kind of crowded here in the shelter today. There are a lot of people. It's difficult for people to be out and around on a day like today. So we have a big crowd in the day room. For the most part, well, generally we have 15 men that stay here. We have beds for 4 single women. During the winter months, we have occasion to take more people. We would not refuse people brought in by the clergy, any clergy person, or the police. And so sometimes on certain snowy days or cold nights, during this time of the year, we get some extra people. There was actually a man sleeping in this office one morning when I came in, which had never happened before. It was a complete surprise. But unfortunately, it is indicative of the continuing difficulties for people to try to afford places to live in this area. So in addition to the beds, we have the 15 beds for men, 4 beds for women. We have a kitchen, and every night at 5 o'clock, volunteers bring in a complete meal for about 25 people. And the clients that are here sit down in the day room and share a meal. We do get a variety of people that come from the outside that are not actually staying here. Usually about 5 people on any given night come in from the outside. So we got a big group for dinner. And volunteers come in, serve dinner. Sometimes they hang around and kind of chat with the people that are here, which is a great experience for both sides of that equation.
Let me ask you where you're from. where you guys are from?
Live here in Westport. Been here for about now, 2 years, I think. Moved here 2 years in July.
And how did you get involved with Interfaith Housing?
Actually, it was through my wife Joyce. We're trying to get more involved with the community, and actually, I don't.
Someone actually came to speak at St. Luke's Church, and so we got involved from there. Just kind of took the initial step to get involved.
Yeah, we actually we like to cook too, so we figured take both loves and try to help somebody out in locally in the community too. So the first time we came, it was I think Christmas time last year, and we figured do it again and do it a couple more times.
And so this is your own food?
Yeah.
You're making.
Yeah.
Well, why don't I just do a close up here, and don't you tell me, just describe tray by tray what you brought today?
Well, we got a couple things here. This is a Italian marinated grilled chicken, which we did this afternoon, right before we came. What kind of rice? Rice pilaf, which Joyce did again this afternoon, and then we had to do like 3 or 4 different batches because we didn't have enough pots and pans, but we did a nice garlic and oiled broccoli. Then we did a little salad, and then little dinner rolls, and then we got some little cookies back there for for after dinner. So try to get a little bit of everything in.
I walk around the place, and I'm used to 2 very different lifestyles, and I hear, I used to hear people complaining about if they, got cheese on their whatever French dish or whatever, and I'm here in this situation, and I'm thankful I have a bed and some food, 3 hots and a cot. I'm glad I have that.
There's the sheltering. We feed people, but I think part of one of the more important parts of our mission with the shelters is to try to get people out of here, and get them out in a positive way, in a way that they're going to be perhaps more self-sufficient for having been here. We're a little bit different than some of the other shelters in the state. We do have a variety of rules and policies, and it's it's the sort of place where if you're willing to come in and try to work to get to a different place, we would be happy to work with you and give you a hand. If you are not exactly ready to be sober, take treatment, visit maybe a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or take some therapy, you're welcome to stay here. But ultimately, we will move you on, because our interest is really to try to help people to move into a better place as opposed to staying stuck where they are.
This has been an amazing community. There are literally no communities like it in this area for its size and for the affluence and its acceptance of what we do. We have looked to see who else does our work in our kind of community, and looking nationwide, we find 3 other places. One of them is in Fairfield. Operation Hope Fairfield, of course, is twice the size of Westport and has a much more varied housing stock than Westport does, but it's still an affluent community. The other one is outside of Chicago, and the 4th one is in Sonoma County. We're not sure what makes Westport different. When I look at what makes us different from some of the other communities in Lower Fairfield County, one of the obvious things that sticks out to me is that Westport, if I'm remembering the UJA study correctly, has a 20% Jewish population. That's higher than the other communities. I don't know whether it's our openness to having a Jewish community and a synagogue as early as 1948 makes us receptive to having a shelter in our kind of programs, or whether having so many Jewish people here makes us receptive. Either way, it seems that that's a significant fact that can't be overlooked, that this community, and all the communities have churches, so it's not us Christians, it's somebody else, has done that. We have been supported by every administration since opening, Republican or Democrat, in Town Hall. We are only 14% funded by the state of Connecticut. Almost all the rest of our funding comes out of this community, some out of Weston and Wilton. That is unique in the state of Connecticut. We have found people in this community open to our doing new ideas on how to shorten the time people are homeless, so that we have, for instance, in the shelter all day, every day, Monday through Friday, 3 people to work with 19 clients. That's a tremendous staff-client ratio, much different than any place else in Connecticut. But it enables us to shorten the amount of time one is homeless, and that's all privately funded. The state and federal government don't pay for any of that. So it's just a tremendous community to work in. One could not hope for a better community.
As you can see, these shelves were at one time completely full. They're even sagging, some of them in the middle, from the weight of the food that had been on them. And now we're really down to just pasta. Periodically, people will, we serve 3 meals a day in the Gillespie Center, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we generally give the food in this pantry away to people from the outside. Now and again, we do need to come up here ourselves to find food to feed the homeless people that stay here, which gets a little bit dicey when all we have is pasta. Generally, this food is given away, but we do have to use it from time to time for to supplement the things that we get in that are donated for the people that live here. We have a tremendous slate of volunteers. Somebody is scheduled every day of the year to bring dinner to the Gillespie Center. We usually have 20 to 25 people for dinner. And unfortunately, because of things that happen in people's schedules, sometimes they forget. And that is one of the major times when we have to come up here and get food out of our own pantry. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, we do need to take food. Usually, we get the donated food from the volunteers. Usually they bring more than we need for the one meal, so we use the food, the leftovers from the evening before for lunch the next day. That usually works out very, very well. There are other stores and food shops that donate pastries and day-old this and that, and so we have a good supply of fresh things to feed the people that stay here. The other part of this storage area is clothing. We get a tremendous amount of clothing donations from people in the town, and very, very generous. And we store them up here as best we can. And I do have volunteers, even though it looks a little sloppy right now. I do have volunteers who come up here on a regular basis and kind of clean it up and weed out things that are not going to be used. But when the individuals come to look for the clothing, they tend to kind of mess it up a little bit. But we do have a great reserve of clothing for people that come to us. A lot of times the people will come to us really only with the clothes on their backs. And so it's nice to be able to have all this extra stuff to be able to give to them.
Parents got divorced. My dad and I went to Coventry, and my mom came down here. But I finished off high school in Coventry, but I came home from school and I found out that my dad shoots heroin. I didn't like that, so I hightailed it down here, and my mom passed away in October, and I'm on the streets.
Difficult scenario here for a lot of people. They're suffering. And what we do is we give them very concrete things. We give them very concrete steps to try to move them on and get them so that they're in a better place in their lives, so that they can be independent and self-sufficient again. And we have success. We have a variety of successes. Sometimes it doesn't look like success in maybe stereotype way of somebody going out and working for IBM and becoming a multimillionaire. But these small steps that people take really are not that small for them, and we notice it. And I think it's that kind of thing that really keeps us all staying with the work, because even though it's it's difficult, it is there's a lot of hope, a lot of good things that happen here.
Interfaith Housing is working with the Corporation for Supportive Housing and the Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness on a blueprint to end homelessness by 2012. We started this last year, so it's a 10-year plan that we're almost a year into. Our goal is to develop in the state of Connecticut 68,000 new units of affordable housing, and 10,000 of those units will be supportive affordable housing. So there'll be housing with caseworkers, social workers going with it. Interfaith Housing is committed to developing that housing in the suburbs surrounding Norwalk. As some of your viewers may remember, if they've lived here for a long time, the second floor of almost all of the buildings on Main Street used to be affordable housing. So a lot of affordable housing that used to exist disappeared. Where the condominiums are in Playhouse Square used to be affordable housing. That gentrified into something that is lost. We're working with the town of Westport on this, don't want to lose anything else.
Keep me searching for a heart.